Well, guess you saw the first 2 episodes of Agatha all along. And yes, once again, because we're going to review it on Pop Culture Breakdown for Doomcock, you know? So might as well get a video out of it myself. So, I guess there was a contest between Lucasfilm and Marvel to see, who could do the better lesbian witches series. I mean, it's not overt in this, which once again, all the marketing for this show is that it's the gayest thing Marvel's done or something of that nature, you know. Repeatedly making a big deal about the new, the only male star it appears to be introduced, who may or may not be, the Scarlet Witch's son, who goes on to become Wiccan in the Young Avengers and all that sort of thing, who, from the get-go, was gay. So this is not a orientation swap. So, you take your victories where you can. Unless he turns out to be some other character and they swap him after all. But nevertheless, that's the marketing. And in 2 episodes in, I mean, yeah, this guy's gay. There's some insinuations there may have been this relationship between Agatha and this other woman that Aubrey Plaza is playing, or they just have a rivalry, and at the moment they don't like each other and that sort of thing. So that's about it. The rest of it is so boring. and really nothing intriguing. It takes a page from the WandaVision show where the first episode opens and it's like you're in this fake TV series, this detective drama. And it's basically in the aftermath of WandaVision and what Wanda did to Agatha, she's left in this spell and doesn't remember who she is and this sort of thing. So the initial episode is to get her back to who she is. They couldn't afford a cameo from Elizabeth Olsen, so but her corpse is there. Because, hey, look, apparently after Doctor Strange, she's no... I mean, the Scarlet Witch Multiverse of Madness featuring... special guest star Doctor Strange. Yeah, that film. It looked like that was it for Scarlet Witch. Well, of course we know that's probably not the end. We got Secret Wars to do later on. So anyway, that's all you get of that. But of course, this is the results of what Agatha had wrought in the first series and lost to Scarlet Witch. And now she's, I got to get my witch powers back. And this young guy who wants to be a witch too and is somehow is able to research Agatha's story. And, she's a couple hundred years old and all this stuff. And so he's her biggest fan and all this sort of thing. So he wants to learn tricks of the trade from her, and there's this pathway for her to reacquire her powers, but she needs other witches to do it. So first episode just utilizes the attributes or the trappings of the WandaVision show being a fake show, and that pretty much dissolves rather quickly. Although, considering what happens at the end of the second episode, maybe they'll go back to that as they go forward. I don't know. Second episode, she's pretty much back in form, and her new prodigy go looking for how they do this. They need the help of other witches and all this sort of stuff. And it's fine in that's the plot points, and that's what she's trying to do. And there's something mysterious about this young man. They already released a clip of that earlier where he speaks his name, but you can't hear it, and some weird word scratch forms over his mouth. And even his own backstory, he tells her what his backstory is, but you can't hear it. And she's trying to hear it. She can hear everything else, but not him. That kind of thing. So there's a spell over him, and which I mean, it's the most obvious thing following the comic book material that he may be the future Wiccan, who's, Wanda's son. As to what happened to his brother, well, we don't know yet. Or he'll be someone else entirely. But since they were gearing towards a Young Avengers, they showed that at the end of the Marvels. It's probably the groundwork was laid here in this series, which was supposed to have already come out by now, but they just and they probably should have just dumped it all at once, because 2 episodes in, it's really not a whole lot there. But overly gay and everything. I mean, it's mostly women. They're not having sex with each other. They're not even flirting. And then there's this gay guy who gets a text from his boyfriend. There you go. See, he's gay, in case you didn't figure it out. So, I don't know. I suppose there'll be more of that later on, but for the most part, they're already up and going as far as getting the powers back, and they go on this magical journey that she travels to. So there's a few scenes that are the trappings of horror movies, which they do all right in the scenery here. But they try to make it funny. They want it to have a lot of jokes, and that Agatha herself is a very comical character and all that. None of them land. It's almost as if, even the performers themselves realize this, and it's just, let's just get through it. It's paint by numbers. Let's paint the number and go. Because it's really dull, and it's just going through the motions of something it wants to be, but doesn't quite know how to get there. So, pretty lackluster first 2 episodes. Nothing really there. That's the kind of thing that pisses me off, or any of that stuff. But it's also bereft of any charm, whereas, Ms. Marvel is a show I keep going back to. This is probably the best one that DP has done with their Marvel shows as an overall series. But it was a show I was not particularly interested in, but I, for the purpose of giving an objective view, gave it a shot, watched for what it was. Never did like the comic book character version. But the actress playing the character did have a charm to her. And overall, it was just this fun, simple little, almost sitcom, really, of a show. It's nothing to write home about, but I saw it for good work for what it was, and it had a charm to it. It's unfortunate it was followed up by that terrible Marvels movie, but that's the way it goes. For Agatha, well, Agatha comes out of WandaVision, which was intriguing and had potential, but Feige sabotaged it because they suddenly realized and remembered that Doctor Strange is white and male. So they had to take that out and shoehorn Agatha in, I guess. I don't know. We'll never know what the original ending was, but that's too bad, huh? So here's Agatha left after that, and just really have no interest in it. It's just, well, it's the Marvel brand, so that's it. So I really don't see it turning it around. It just seems to be determined not to seek any charm at all, which is odd. It's supposed to be about these witches and spells and stuff, Yeah. But again, they're all a bunch of witches who've lost their powers, not just Agatha. So I guess as it goes, it'll increase in all kinds of incredible things and more charm by the end. By the end, you'll be totally in love with it. Not likely. So there you go. 2 episodes of Agatha.